You ever get that feeling like the world's just a lot?
Oh, yeah, totally.
To-do lists a mile long and bad news everywhere you turn. Makes you wonder, can one person even make a dent in all that?
It's easy to feel overwhelmed, for sure.
But what if I told you there's a way to make a difference that also makes you feel better? That's our deep dive today.
Right.
One good deed a day. We're pulling from this documentary, Do One Good Deed in a Day.
I've seen that one. It's great. It goes deep, you know. Not just the doing, but the why behind it all. Even the brain science stuff.
Right. Fascinating. So they define a good deed as any intentional action that helps someone else out. Big or small, no strings attached.
It's all about the intention.
Yeah.
Like holding the door open that counts. But only if you're genuinely doing it to be helpful. Not just for show.
Makes sense. They actually quote Gandhi in the film. The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. Powerful stuff.
It really is. In our busy world, it's easy to lose sight of the bigger picture. This brings it back to meaning, purpose.
And they list all these benefits, like building trust in society, boosting your own mood.
It's not just about being nice, there's real impact.
Okay, so convince me on the why. But life's crazy busy. Where do we even find the time for all this?
That's the beauty of it. It doesn't have to be huge, complicated things. The doc gives tons of examples.
Like what? Give me some ideas.
Well, just really listening to someone who needs to vent. That's a good deed. Helping with chores, even just saying thank you and meaning it.
I like it. Simple stuff.
Exactly. And it can happen anywhere. At home, at work, out in the world.
They even mentioned planting a tree.
Right. That's a good one. Helps the environment, makes your neighborhood prettier, even give you that satisfaction of having done something lasting.
So for everyone listening, what jumps out at you? What are the good deed opportunities you see in your own day-to-day life?
Think about what you're good at. Are you a great listener? A fixer? Even just offering a smile can turn someone's day around.
Okay, tons of possibilities here. But how do we actually make it happen? Move from thinking to doing.
The documentary's got some great tips. One of the big ones is active listening. Not just hearing words, but really paying attention, showing empathy.
Like making someone feel heard, truly heard. That's valuable.
And they stress that it's not about grand gestures. Small acts of kindness worked into your routine. That's the key.
So how do we turn that into a habit?
They suggest aiming for at least one good deed a day. Manageable, right? Helps you build that kindness muscle without getting overwhelmed.
I like it. A daily intention to do some good in the world.
And it shuts down that I don't have time excuse.
Yeah.
We all have little pockets of time where we can be kind. It's about making that choice.
Okay, we've got the what, the why, the where, even the how to make it a habit. But what about the results? What does the doc say about the impact of all these little actions?
That's where it gets really interesting. They've got these amazing stories of how one good deed can set off a whole chain reaction of positive stuff.
Oh, yeah, I love those stories.
Me too. Like there's this one about a student who helps out a homeless person.
Yeah.
And that act inspires their whole class to organize a food drive.
One person sparks a movement.
Exactly. And it's not just the big picture. They talk about the benefits for you too.
We touched on feeling good, happier.
Yeah.
But it's more than that, right?
Absolutely. They say doing good deeds can make you a better person overall. More emotionally intelligent, more empathetic. Even helps with mental health by reducing stress.
Doing good makes you feel good. It's a win-win. They even mentioned that it can boost your reputation. Like, people admire kindness.
Makes sense. It's like kindness is this currency that makes everyone richer.
Love it. And we're just scratching the surface here. This documentary goes even deeper into the whole philosophical side of good deeds.
Right, the big ideas. We're talking altruism, existentialism, even stoicism. All linked to good deeds in a way that makes sense. That's coming up next, so stick with us.
All right, philosophy time. I gotta admit, this stuff sometimes goes over my head.
Oh, I get it. Can be a little intimidating. But the way this documentary does it, it's really cool. They connect those big ideas right back to good deeds. Makes it click.
So where do they even start?
Altruism, which is basically caring about other people's well-being, even if it doesn't benefit you directly.
Makes sense, like that built-in human drive to help we were talking about.
Exactly. Then they get into existentialism. You know, that whole finding meaning in a crazy world thing. Well, existentialists say one way to do that is through good deeds. Helping others gives you purpose.
So even if the world feels meaningless, we can create meaning by doing good.
Right. It's empowering. Like, hey, I might not know all the answers, but I can still make a difference.
I like that. Takes the pressure off. And then they talk about stoicism. It's something about living in harmony with nature.
Yeah. And being virtuous, Stoics believe good deeds are like expressions of virtue. and that helps everyone get along better.
So we got altruism, which is about selfless helping, existentialism, which is finding meaning, and stoicism, which is virtue and harmony. It's kind of cool how they all lead back to the same idea, right? Like, doing good is just good.
Right, it's like a universal truth, not just some self-help fad. This is deep stuff that philosophers have been thinking about forever.
Okay, so the documentary's got the why, the how, even the philosophy. But does it really make sense logically? I mean, the world's got huge problems. Can little acts of kindness even make a dent?
That's a good question. And they address that head on. They talk about these things called positive feedback loops.
Uh-oh, science words.
No, it's easy.
Yeah.
Now, imagine you help a coworker out with a project. Later, they're more likely to help you when you need it.
Okay, so like kindness gets paid back.
Yeah, but it goes further. Maybe your coworker, because you're nice, then helps someone else, and so on. Kindness spreads.
What goes around comes around, but the good kind.
Right, and it's not just favors, it's society-wide. When we do good things, it builds a more cooperative, supportive environment.
More trust between people, stronger communities.
Exactly. The doc even argues that good deeds can help bridge divides between people who are different from each other.
Because even small acts of kindness show our shared humanity.
Totally. Like sharing a meal with someone from another culture or helping a neighbor who speaks a different language. It breaks down walls.
It's like we're all connected by these threads of good deeds. I like that image.
It's beautiful, right? And they bring up the fact that some people, their good deeds are tied to their faith or spiritual beliefs.
How do they handle that?
Really respectfully. They just acknowledge that for many people, faith is a big motivator for being kind and compassionate.
So not pushing any one religion, but recognizing that it's important to some folks.
Yeah, it's inclusive.
Yeah.
Shows that people find meaning in different ways, but good deeds are something we can all connect with.
Okay, so we covered a lot. What good deeds are, why they matter, how to fit them in, the philosophy, the logic, the impact on society. But let's get back to the heart of it all.
That one good deed a day idea.
Right. It's so simple, yet the documentary makes you believe it can change the world.
It's not about forcing people to be good. It's giving them the tools and the inspiration. Helps you understand why it's worth doing.
It's like an invitation to live more mindfully, more intentionally kind.
And realizing that we all have the power to make a difference, no matter how small.
You know what really struck me? They called this a quiet revolution.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
Instead of waiting for the government or someone else to fix things, we can do it through our everyday actions.
And not waiting for some big opportunity, but finding those little chances to be kind every single day.
One good deed, manageable, sustainable, and it could change everything.
I'm in. It's inspiring. It gives me hope. Like, even with all the mess in the world, we can do something good.
It's reclaiming our humanity bit by bit, choosing to be a force for good. Speaking of which, the documentary ends with some seriously thought-provoking questions, like, where do good deeds fit into the grand scheme of things? We'll tackle those in the final part of our deep dive.
Okay, back for the final part of our deep dive. And, gotta say, feeling pretty inspired after that last conversation.
It's amazing, right? Such a simple idea, but it really gets you thinking.
You know, it got me remembering this time I was on a crowded train and this older woman was trying to get her suitcase up on the rack.
Oh, I can see that being a struggle.
It was. But before I could even offer to help, this young guy jumps up, lifts the suitcase, even helps her find her seat. Such a small thing. But the whole mood on that train changed. Everyone was smiling, talking. Like, that one act of kindness just rippled outwards.
Exactly what the documentary is all about. It's not just the deed, it's that positive energy spreading out to touch everyone.
And it makes you realize we can be that person. We can start that ripple.
Absolutely. And, you know, the doc ends by asking this question. It really got me thinking.
What is it?
What if the solution to the world's problems isn't top-down, but bottom-up?
Whoa. That's, yeah.
Makes you rethink things, doesn't it? Like, what if it's not about waiting for governments or big institutions to fix everything, but it's us, individuals, our actions that make the real change?
So not relying on systems, but on millions of people doing good things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's radical, but I don't know, it feels hopeful too. You know?
He does, and a little scary. Like, wow, it's on us then.
It is, but also empowering. We're not powerless. We have choices. And every day, we can choose to be part of making things better.
So as we wrap this up, I want to throw that question out to everyone listening. What one good deed are you going to do today? Doesn't have to be huge.
Could be a compliment, helping a neighbor, a kind text to someone having a tough time.
Make that choice. Make kindness a habit. Who knows, your one good deed might inspire someone else. Then they do one. And it spreads.
The possibilities are amazing, right?
Yeah.
A world where everyone's intentionally doing good, that could change everything.
And on that note, that's our deep dive on Do One Good Deed in a Day. Hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully it's got you thinking about how to bring more kindness into your life.
Remember, even the smallest actions make a difference. Get out there, be kind, and let's make the world a bit brighter one good deed at a time.